is going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome back once again, y'all, to our Tuffy Talk live show. We are ready to get back into this fun conversation here as we got a lot to get to today as that red light was red hot today. And we will be talking all things about it here today. But obviously always, you got myself, Layton Smith, here with Michael Tracy, and Greg DeLeg should be joining us here momentarily as well. But we want to go ahead and get this thing rolling here as we wait for him here as we got some fun things planned. Got some games that we'll be playing here a little bit later. But we wanted to wait until we had Greg here with us. So that way Michael wouldn't be the one enjoying it all by himself. But anyway, what's going on, Vincent? Yeah, make sure, again, if you've been with us before, you know the drill. Just send your comments, thoughts in the comment section, and we will get to all of them here today. I already got Nick asking the question, how do you guys feel about the ACC and the CWTV deal? And huge news for sure. Did that happen over the last few days, or did that happen the week before? We forgot to talk about it.
No, I think it just happened this week. So I don't think we've talked about it.
Yeah. So again, it's going to be awesome. So there'll be so the CW network will broadcast 50 football and basketball games a year through 2026 to 2027 season. And the CW will air 13 football games, which I'm assuming is basically one game per week, obviously. And then 28 men's basketball games and 9 women's basketball games. So it's kind of a split, it's kind of interesting thought here of how that's going to work. But I mean, compared to how Bally Sports did or whatever, I mean, I'll take it, right? I mean, hopefully we can actually watch some ACC games during like the ACC championship baseball series. That was always the most annoying thing, watching, ACC baseball games on Bally Sports when you had AC Network. But
yeah, no, it should be a lot easier to watch games. With the CW being a national, it's a national channel, right? And you can even get it even if you don't have cable, you can get it over the air with an antenna. So,
what's going on, Macon?
Much, guys. How are y'all?
Doing good, man. Just we're talking about the new ACC and CW TV deal, man. Michael. Michael, just want to let you. Did you have any other thoughts? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was just going to say it's probably. I don't think they can, or I don't know if they will black out any more games because it's a national network, right? Bally Sports was just regional, so sometimes those games got blacked out. So I don't think you run into that anymore, but we'll see.
Well, and I think that's always, besides the, not showing ACC games on the ACC network, which again, keep in mind that CW and ACC network, it's not CW taking over the ACC network. No. It's kind of a partnership almost in a way. Yeah. They basically, CW bought out the rights of certain games that they will show over the ACC network. But Macon, what are your thoughts, man? I mean, because to me, hey, I love being able, because blackout rules are always the most annoying thing. I feel like that's
they are.
There's two things that you'll never understand in life, and that's the first thing, how to say Worcestershire. Also, the other thing is, why are certain games blacked out and certain games not? It makes no sense.
So I'm going to put my vote in. It's Worcestershire. That's my vote. That's my vote.
Okay. Nailed it.
Nailed it. Okay, my second. So on the actual topic. So my thing is, I mean, for me personally, as a fan, selfishly, I think it's good because I don't think it's going to be blackouts anymore. It's a over the air channel that like my dad can get out in his barn on a set of antennas. So it's not going to be that bad, and I like that because to me that means, to my opinion, more people can see NC State games, and that's a good thing if they can see more wins and
more wins. I like
the thing I would say though is it's like the only downside that I can think of potentially is well, I don't know about downside, but I'd be curious to know how this is going to impact or how this can help state financially. What are the financial implications of it? Like, does state make more money or less money by doing this versus Bali? I don't know, but it's just I think it's a good thing. It's just I don't know enough about how the whole TV network thing works other than I obviously know, like, when you're talking about the ACC and SC network, it's all about money. So I figured should be a factor here. Like, we don't know what that's going to look like. At least I don't. So,
yeah, I think it's going to be more money just in the fact that the reason the games are moving from Bally Sports is
more
because they're going bankrupt. So there's at least some guarantee of income there. But I think with it being national, it should bring more viewership, which, I mean, that's obviously never going to hurt. hurt your dollars
Yeah.
with more viewers. So
Yeah, so I mean, they did say that a lot of it is because of visibility issues, which I'm sure is probably the blacking out, like we were saying. The blackout issues were always a pain in the butt. And we got Greg.
What's going on, guys?
Greg tuning in from your hotel, man. Last week it was Michael, and then this week we got Greg once again, man.
we're a traveling bunch.
I know. It's like we have full-time jobs or something like that. Outside Tuffy Talk. What are we doing, right?
It's really getting old.
So Greg, give us your thoughts. We were talking a little bit here about the new TV deal with CW, and let us know in the comments too, y'all. For those of y'all tuning in with us, let us know your thoughts on CW. What are your thoughts? What are your positives, negatives? But Greg, give us your thoughts here real quick about it.
Yeah, I don't know what you guys have said, but my big one for me was: are we going to get preempted if LIV golf goes long? Because there's not an ESPN2 they can go over or ESPN News. So what happens? Because obviously they're making more money off of that than they are the ACC network or the ACC deal. So what happens?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and I was doing a little bit of research through a couple of different links while y'all were talking, and there wasn't any mention about money, but they definitely mentioned kind of revenue sharing as well. But they said, and I quote, they used the word sprinkle. So I'm sure it's not going to be, substantial, revenue from it. But especially because, again, it's 13 football games, 28 men's basketball games. So it's not a ton of games.
There's a few women too.
Correct. I think it's like 9 women's basketball
games. Not
many. Yeah. But yeah, no, Michelle and Endgame both agree that Bally is gone. Bally was bad. Yes. No, Bally was frustrating.
I mean, I feel like if you only Greg, I mean, what other games did you get? I know you were big on Bally, or you had Bally. So like, what were your benefits other than state games?
Yeah, so I actually didn't have Bally because where I live, it's actually Masson, Mid-Atlantic Sports Network. Okay. But it's the same RSN, feeder. I didn't deal with the Bally. I know I've heard horror stories. Masson's still hanging around. It's an independently owned. If anyone follows Northern Virginia, Maryland sports, the Nats and the Orioles have been at it for years over the Masson deal. So they've got tons of money. So I didn't have to deal with the headaches. I always found it funny when all the state fans are like, I can't find the game. What channel is it on? That was always the funniest, if you had DirecTV, Spectrum, Dish, whatever it was. So that was always a fun argument every Saturday.
Yeah. Seth says here, I had Bally. I could watch most state games and the Braves would play on it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I was just curious because I could never really care to that. Greg, sorry.
And no, I was going to say, I think the Hornets were on there too, if I'm not mistaken, for you guys. Yeah. And the Hurricanes.
Yeah, but Hurricanes were too. So, but again, it's just not one of those, it would be a whole lot better if Bally Sports was included in some normal packages. But the problem is that you basically have to go out of your way to pay for Bally separately most of the times in order to get access to Bally.
And that's the other thing with the CW. I mean, that's pretty much included in any type of cable package.
Yeah, that's an over-the-air network, actually, in most places.
Exactly.
But you guys know the whole story of how Bally came to be, though, right?
They bought the Fox Sports.
Right, because Disney had to sell it off. So this all stems from Disney. It's insane how much it devalued in such a short amount of time. I mean, it went from billions to bankrupt in 5-6 years. I don't know the exact number.
It's frustrating, just getting access, and then sometimes even if you do get access, it's blacked out, and it's like why it's blacked out.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating.
I will tell you, if anyone's tech savvy, you can always get a VPN and get around it.
Wow, Greg. All right. We are not promoting illegal, no.
No, it's not illegal. It just tells you that you're somewhere else. That's all. It's not illegal. I mean, you're paying. You still have to pay for access.
Greg is a criminal, everybody.
Oh Lord. Whatever. Yeah, no, that's true. Appreciate it, Greg. All right, so let's move on to one other thing here. This is not tweet of the week, as it is one of ours. Even though we've done tweet of the weeks that are ours before, but trying to stay away from that now, just as much as possible, not to say like, we're awesome. Like,
look at us.
Yeah, look at us.
Sometimes we put out good tweets.
We got good
for
tweets.
Sure, but I don't want to
dissing our tweet.
No, never. Okay. Well, most of them are my tweets. So
I was going to say, I don't see dissing himself.
So a couple days ago, or maybe even yesterday or 2 days ago, put out this tweet here asking the question: if you could go back in time and change any NC State football loss to a win, which game would you choose let us know. And we had over 90 different responses, a lot of people that were involved in. But after taking a look back, the 4 most popular ones were the 1992 Peach Bowl, the Ohio State loss. I would probably group maybe both Ohio State losses in probably together. The Maryland loss in 2010, and then the Georgia Tech loss in 2002.
And then there were some honorable mentions in there with Clemson in 17 and then BC last year. Those were probably the top 5.
Yeah, I agree.
6, excuse me.
Yep, and just like you said, Greg, us young kids wouldn't know anything about those games, right? But I was actually at the Maryland 2010 game, and that was first of all, it was freezing, but it was super frustrating because we came out early, punched in the mouth early, and then Torrey Smith.
Yeah.
Torrey Smith went freaking off, and it was like, can we double this guy for goodness sake? And then 1992 Beach Bowl is I think that just more bugs people just because that's like one of the main things that ECU fans bring up every single time we try and talk smack with them is 1992 Beach Bowl.
Yeah, and that was a brutal loss too. I mean, let's be real. They came down in both Peach Bowls back when it was in. Does anybody remember where they used to play it?
Peach Bowl?
No, the Peach Bowl was in Atlanta. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
but what
Bowl,
stadium?
Right? Oh, I have no idea.
Couldn't tell you.
This is so old. It was Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, the old Braves Stadium. So 3 stadiums ago, that's when those were played. So yeah, it was pretty. That I remember that ECU game. My parents were there. I was not cool enough to go with them, but I remember watching it, and it was a brutal ending. And like you said, that's the one thing that ECU. About the only thing that they can really hold over our heads.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, when I think back to that 2010 game, the only reason why I would like, if you said, if you could change any loss, I imagine that's one loss. What would it be? The reason why I don't feel that way about that game is because if we had won that, we would have had Tom O'Brien longer.
That's true.
Probably.
So I'm like, I don't think I would have changed that one. That's why I was kind of leaning towards.
That's an interesting perspective on that one.
I mean, because if he would want it, I mean, like you're not firing the guy next year, so you're not getting Dave Doran. You're not getting Dave Doran probably. So I don't know. I mean, maybe 2 years later you do, I guess, because it would have been 2010. You would have fired him in the 2012 season, But that's where I think about it.
But also in retrospect, if you potentially win an ACC championship, you might get better recruiting. Like so, you can fiddle with it and turn it and twist it. I don't know either, but
I don't know how good TOB ever would have been at recruiting.
It's a fair argument too.
But and then kind of the same thing with 2017 Clemson. I always say I wouldn't necessarily pick that one just because we were still in a stage as a program we were growing, and so I think that even if we did beat Clemson, like it would have been big at the time. But like, would we have lost to Boston College still? Would we have lost to Florida State? Maybe, probably. I mean, just at the time, we were just that. We just still were not where we are now as a program, where we're much more consistent now. And besides Boston College, that was a one time. But anyway, go ahead, Michael.
So that 2010, if we won that game, who would we have played
Virginia Tech?
Year? Virginia Tech?
With Tyrod Taylor? I would assume so. Tyrod Taylor, because Tyrod Taylor beat us. VT beat us.
Looking at that right now. Looking at that right now.
Yeah. Well, because I'm just thinking, like,
I
mean,
Tyrod Taylor, they were undefeated in conference play.
Yeah.
So we probably
I get smoke checked.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So, I mean, immediately the first one that came to mind is Wake Forest for me in 2021. I mean, if we win that game, we're playing Pitt in the ACC championship.
Yeah, or if you win Miami, either one, right? Because that was pretty brutal too.
Which one is this? Which one are we talking about?
No, because Wake Forest was 10-2.
So you're talking about 2017?
No, 2021.
We would only have one. We would only have one ACC loss.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Well, I come back to the 2017 match that we lost to Clemson. That's because I think about that. If we had won at that time, State was like, I think State might have been one loss or undefeated.
Yeah, and they would have had some tiebreakers too because Clemson would have had the second loss with Pitt. So I think
they might have been 2 games ahead of Clemson at that point in time because State was only out of it by one game and
Right.
in the standings. So you would have played Miami, and I don't know who Miami had in 2017. Was it Brad Kaya?
Sounds about right. Yeah,
Probably.
that sounds
Yeah.
right. Because he played
Yeah,
against
that one
us.
too.
I would have taken us against that Miami team.
And I feel like we played Miami that year too. It might have been 2018.
Did we beat them?
At home? No,
we
See.
lost.
we lost.
We haven't beaten Miami since 2008. We haven't
Yep.
beaten Miami.
Okay, so that must be the one time we lost then, I guess.
So let's
Well,
get some of these comments here real quick here. So Michelle's talking about Ohio State with Phillip Rivers
Yeah.
at quarterback.
Yeah.
In game, bringing up last year, Boston College. If not that, then 2022 Clemson or 2016 Clemson. I think, 2016.
Real quick with that Ohio State game. I mean, that's a program-defining win. You're beating a top 5 team on the road.
Yeah.
I can get on board with that one because you're kind of that's so much earlier.
Yeah.
It kind of maybe could to project your program a little bit to a greater position 20 years later than where you're even now. So I can get on board with that.
I know 2002 was on there, Georgia Tech. I don't remember that game. Anybody know the details on that one and like why that was significant?
What year was this?
2002 for Georgia Tech.
Was that the Calvin Johnson breakout game? Or was that before Calvin Johnson?
That seems a little early for Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
I do not remember. I'm going to look up the standings real quick.
Well, that was the one because we were like undefeated heading into, and then once we lost to Georgia Tech, then we went on a 3-game losing streak, and then we beat FSU to get our first ever 10-win season. So I think Georgia Tech was kind of like it knocked the train off the tracks a little bit, because we were steamrolling through the season undefeated, and then we lost to Georgia Tech, and then lost 2 more games, and had to beat Florida State at the end of the season to get 10 wins.
Man, okay, so Georgia Tech, the score was 24-17. Georgia Tech.
Yeah, it was at state.
We were ranked 10th in the nation, and I wonder if that's probably why. I'm trying to look back to how we.
Yeah, and there was some controversy in that game too.
Oh wow, State choked that game.
Yeah, but there was controversy on something where if the play goes our way, we probably end up winning the game.
T.A. McClendon probably, when in doubt during those years, if we got screwed, probably T.A. McClendon was involved, right?
Yeah, there was a game though where there was an end around, and then maybe this is the game where they called him out. I can't remember.
No,
is that something different?
That was Clemson. Maybe. Brian Underwood.
Oh, that was right. That was Underwood.
Yeah, that was way after.
There was some kind of significant call. Maybe it was a penalty or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just saw that one pop up a lot.
Yeah,
there's been some tough ones.
So now let's move on. Let's move on to some fun news here, as we can talk about the first big news of today, which is the commitment of Bradley Rozner, baby, transfer wide receiver from Rice University. A guy that is 6'5", a speedster, a mismatch nightmare for sure. A guy that once he hit the portal, there was a lot of different NC State media members that were like, "Hey, check that guy out." And so for us to land him, over there was in the interview that he did, basically it sounded like it came down to Washington State and Colorado, and us, obviously. And so he chose us. It sounded like last week he actually talked to Coach Doran and told him last week. So huge get for sure. And I think for me, what this really does, because I think a lot of people kind of hate on the wide receiver room. I understand that there was worries there for sure heading into the season, even for myself included. But it wasn't necessarily because I didn't feel like we had talent. I feel like that just the entire room was a lot of, who knows, a lot of guys that could be really good, but they're unproven. Yeah, very young, very raw. Guys like Julian Gray, Damari Collins, Keon Lassane, Terrell Timmons, all those guys are talented guys that could easily be great wide receivers, but just we didn't know. But now you have a guy that's going into his 8th year of college football that, is 25 years old, that is going to be a leader. He has experience, and he's a guy that, can be your go-to guy. And then if you have other guys that go off along with him, then that's great. Cherry on top.
Yeah, I'm thinking the one thing just to for this guy, for me, I don't look at we have some size. I know Anthony Smith is 6'2". That's not a small receiver. but 6'5" is like that's not coachable, right? It's like you just are 6'5",
Right.
and so he's a guy with his ability to his speed and his proven ability to be able to get downfield and make those kind of plays. I think is a big deal. I saw we posted some clips of him, or we retweeted some clips of him in high school at Rice. The downside, or the downside, but the only question mark I have with him is, okay, he played at Rice, and he's playing up against guys, teams like Charlotte and UTEP, and it's not. He did play. I think last season he played against Houston, and he played against somebody else. I can't think of who it was, but the stats are the stats, and you got to go with that. You got to work with that. I feel like, to me, that he's putting up those big numbers, potentially the yards after catch. Like, to me, that's such a wide gap. Okay, even if it comes down a little bit, that's still really good, in my opinion. So I think State can work with that. Yeah. And that, to me, like, it's a dimension that I don't think. I think with Anthony Smith and Terrell Timmons, you particularly Timmons, you're starting to see the light bulb go off a little bit, like or come on, I should say. But this guy, like you were saying, Leighton, and it just adds more certainty to your receiving core's ability.
Right.
Yeah. Here's something else that it potentially does with the depth. You now might be able to, and again, we'll figure this out. You might now be able to redshirt a Kevin Concepcion now, right? Because now you've got some depth there. If you feel that he's ready to rock, then obviously you roll with him. But now you have that ability to pull a guy back and give him a red shirt with the depth.
You have flexibility in that regard, yeah.
Right, absolutely. Exactly. And then maybe you even move Juice Farine to more of a tight end position and then create some different mismatches because we're not as deep maybe as there that the coaching staff feels. So it just gives you some maneuverability around the offense. And then potentially you can slot some guys in different positions and then create mismatches based on, different, XYZ type wide receiver positions.
Yeah. No, just like Michelle said, it's great to have someone with experience, especially too, because now on the offensive side, and once again, I have to remind everybody that, like, the idea of a 6-year Brandon Armstrong playing with the 8th-year, Bradley Rozner. I mean, I think that's a combo. I know, but like that's also got to be one of the most ready experienced combos. They're not going to be shaken by nothing, man, because they've been through it all at this point. They played 6 and 8 years of college football, So now I know that obviously with Rozner he hasn't played, at probably the big stadiums like Macon was getting at earlier, but still, man, I would assume by this point, man, he's got the confidence to go out there and light it up. And because he was saying one of the biggest things that he loved with the opportunity to come to NC State is to play in some big time games, like again, the first home game, playing on national TV against Notre Dame, playing against some really good ACC teams. I think he's ready and excited about the opportunity that we have to offer in the ACC that maybe Washington State and Colorado didn't have playing in the Pac-12,
Hey, Leighton.
Go ahead, Greg.
You're selling Rice Stadium short. It's a big stadium. It's just not full.
Well, yeah.
So they're Leighton.
Yeah. Get your facts right. Yeah.
I think the other thing about this, making you alluded to it, he gives you a chance on those 50-50 balls, right, to go up and make a catch. Especially maybe in the end zone, running a fade with him. If you can get some timing down. So I am excited about it. I hope. Obviously, if the coaches didn't think it would be valuable, then they wouldn't pull the trigger. And then another part of that too is that now we only have one open scholarship.
Yeah. So here's one thing that I think is kind of like an auxiliary benefit, if you will, is I just noticed this. I was looking on Twitter earlier today, and I saw the National Barstool Sports account make an article about him committing to NC State, and it was kind of highlighting this guy has played 8 years. NC State lands his 8-year grad receiver who had 10 touchdowns and whatever. It's this is a guy who is getting national attention just because he's an interesting story. Yeah. But even if he's nothing else, to me, I think this is an opportunity for State from a recruiting standpoint and a national perception standpoint to kind of develop into being take the next step of we can take grad transfers and make them produce at NC State at the wide receiver position. And to the recruits, hey, look what Anai did year one. Like, he can do this with you. And these are like a big receiver. So to me, this is an opportunity, I think, for state nationally, for people to kind of like, who may not have been checking into state, might just be, a little bit more the average fan, like, what's that Rozner guy doing? I don't know. I mean, but it's like the fact that it's a national Barstool account. When was the last time? To me, I don't, doesn't happen every day. So it's a publicity thing. And I think that's good for state. So,
where is he from originally? I think he's from Texas.
Texas.
Yeah, he is from Texas. The other thing I liked about this too is his body frame kind of reminds me of Gadsden from Syracuse last year.
You don't say.
There's some similarities there. So
a little bit. Yeah, no. That's one thing I know for us. I know everybody has said like because I mean he's literally a 6 foot. Like they're both 6'5".
Yeah.
They're both tall, big strides. Like about the same weight. Both speedsters, both quick. Like no, they're very, very similar. Very similar. Only difference is that one guy, being our guy, and Rozner, has played 6 more years of has been a part of 6 more years of college football than Gadsden.
Crazy when you say that, but yeah,
I know.
It always reminds me when I hear that Chris Farley. There's a lot of people that go to college for 7 years. From Tommy Boy, great movie.
That's a good movie. I watched that for the first time last year, and I was like, "This is like Dumb and Dumber, but this is funny."
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny.
Chris Farley is one of the all-time greats, no doubt.
Yeah.
So In-Game says this was a huge shock to me. I was so excited. Yeah, I mean, I know for us, like when he first went out there, it was a guy like even you, Michael, said last
week.
It was last week. Yeah, it was a week ago.
Yeah. And then here we are. Then Matt asked the question, do we know what his injuries were that kept him out multiple seasons? Are they likely to reoccur? I mean, dude is 26 and still playing college ball. I mean, I think it's a chance you take.
Actually, Matt missed part of that text or the message is, I mean, dude is 26 and still playing college ball and living his best life. Like he's getting, free education. He's got to have like 40 master's degrees by this point.
Probably.
Like what courses are you even taking? He's probably taking like the bare minimum one course, like something.
I think he got a master's at Rice last year. So take whatever at this point.
But yeah, just kind of fill in the gaps a little bit. So I think it was either 2019, 2020, or 2020, 2021. It was 2 years in a row that he suffered 2 season-ending injuries. Only played 1 game in those 2 seasons, and that was the first game of the second season before he was out with another season-ending injury. From all the research I found, it was not disclosed what his injuries were, but they were both season-ending injuries. And actually, one of them he actually opted out to get surgery. So I mean, the only hope is that it didn't happen last season. So I think that if you kind of look at it as like well, is it going to reoccur? Well, it didn't happen again last season. Now again, does that necessarily mean that it's not going to happen this season? No, absolutely not. I think and that's the most frustrating thing about football is that it is totally it's a game changer depending on who gets injured, how many get injured. Like it's a total toss up. Like again, I mean, it's tough to say, but we'll see what happens.
And then kind of maybe one of the last thoughts on this is let's give credit where credit's due. NIL came through to get him on campus from all accounts. And so it's all about, folks are starting to see that light, with the Packer Wolves NIL, they're already almost $250,000 raised just in the last 2 weeks for these athletes. So great job, all the fans kind of helping make these things happen.
Yeah. Seth asked the question, how's the offensive line this year? I would say stay tuned for that as we will be coming out with our season predictions here coming up here in the next few weeks. But offensive line, I think that's really the only spot I'm really honestly concerned about right now. I think wide receiver, I feel pretty good now. I think running back, quarterback feel good. Defense, obviously, you feel great. So I think offensive line is the only one, just because with Spees, Bryson Spees, right, or is Derek Eason?
Derek
Which one's
Eason.
gone?
Derek
Eason.
Well, no, Derek Eason is I think still here.
Yes,
right.
Spees and Sabala.
So are gone, yeah. So Eason. So it's more of the guard positions I'm concerned about from my end. But
honestly, I'm not worried about the starters. It's the depth behind them.
Correct.
Right.
That too.
Yeah.
But to me, the first thing and the most and the I think the thing that we'll say for now, just to kind of summarize it, is in the day, 2J, Coach 2J in pretty much all of his recent years, he's never had a bad offensive line statistically. He's always had at least a solid offensive line statistically. So I would say then we gotta trust him to make the best decisions in terms of the best the best group of 5, and then to get the guys in the best positions to be ready in case the guy goes down or needs to be swapped out, wherever that may be. So but like to me, if the offensive line can be solid, I think we're going to be in great shape. Like I think that the fact that all of the skill positions we feel good about, I think that's my that's my best case scenario, in my opinion. Like I'd rather feel really good about our skill positions and worried about the offensive line than the other way around. Like I need guys to get the ball in the end zone. So
and the thing with the offensive line, I feel really good about both our tackles and Belton and McKay and McMahon at center, which I think is probably best case scenario because you can sometimes kind of hide somebody at guard when they get help from the center or get help from the tackle.
Right.
So I feel really good about those 3 and we've got Eason who's got a lot of experience. And I think the other guard, I don't think we really know who's going to start at the other one.
So I would say, so you're probably looking at Eason, or you brought in the guy from Oregon, Yaramillo.
Yeah.
He might be the guy. Who knows what they'll do with the guy? Like I think Lyndon Cooper they like at center.
Yeah, his name too.
Rylan Van's a center, younger brother of Davin Van. I don't really know.
I think they're really hoping for Yaramillo to be the swing guy.
I would think so because he's got the experience there. Yeah. So that would be ideal.
Yeah. But I think a lot of those questions too will be answered once fall camp starts here in just 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
So,
2 weeks. Is it really 2 weeks?
Yes.
It's beginning of August typically.
Yeah, summer like plus 1 or 2.
August 2nd.
That's sweet. That's sweet.
Yeah, I know.
45 days.
So let's talk a little bit about a little more recruiting here before we wrap it up here. I wanted to share this. I know I would have typically just done the one comment here, but I felt like I had to add in here the added comment from Alex Taylor. But basically, Ethan McDowell with the Wolfpacker got 4-star wide receiver Jonathan Paylor in a comment saying everybody knows they have the best defense in the ACC. Talking about NC State, so all they need is offensive players to set the whole thing off, and basically talking about how he's still trying to pull Alex and Terrell with me. Talk about Alex Taylor and Terrell Anderson, both also 2 top 200 wide receivers in the country. And Alex Taylor basically commenting on it, WTW twin, which anybody know what WTW means? I'm not sure, but
I have something that I might think it might mean, but I don't know if I want to say it.
I think it's what's the word?
What's the word?
What's the word twin? Okay, there we go. What's the word twin? All right.
That's what. Let's just leave it at that, Greg. No more guessing.
I don't
even know what it'd be, but I don't want to know.
Yeah. And Michelle reminds us that classes start August 21st. But see, that's the craziest thing though about fall camp is that means you're locked in from the 1st of the morning until 9 o'clock at night. You're locked into fall camp until classes start. But anyway, but the thing which I wanted to point out about this though is that keep in mind that there's only one school that is recruiting all 3 of these guys, and that's NC State. Now, Alex Taylor's a guy that we're not really pushing as hard on, at least it seems like from reports, just because we feel really good about Terrell Anderson, where we are with Jonathan Paylor, and also too, Alex seems pretty high on Clemson. But I mean, the fact that Alex commented on it being like, okay, I see what you mean. Because also too, I mean, keeping in mind that the defense that we have, you look at Terrell Anderson, Jonathan Paylor, Alex Taylor, you add them with Kevin Concepcion, you add them with Javonte Vereen, you add him with MJ Morris or Cedric Bailey. I mean, I think that's exactly what this offense needs to take it to the elite level right there with the defense. So,
it just sounds faster.
Oh yeah, it sounds amazing. It sounds awesome. Now, from an NIL perspective, we're gonna have to put out to keep all those guys for sure.
Yeah. I see more raffles in the future.
Oh, for sure. Which got to give a shout out to y'all real quick here. Spend 2 minutes here. Michael and myself got an opportunity to go do the Savage Wolves Murphy Center tour on Saturday, which was awesome, by the way. So got to give a huge shout out to Tom Mavolsi and Inside Pack Sports and Savage Wolves for putting that thing on. I know they were talking about how they're trying to raise $3 million from this raffle in order to go towards NIL, and it sounds like they're very much on track. And I know, especially with, Michael Tracy's name is right there on the top donors, man. So Michael's getting in there. So make sure to get in there with them. Again, tickets are $20. You get a lot of exciting opportunities, such as having dinner with the coaching staff or athletes, doing a film session with Tony Gibson, a whole kinds of stuff. So make sure to go and check it out. Michael, anything to add to that?
It was awesome. You get to see literally every inch of the building, except for Coach Dorn's office because he was not there and he locked it. But we got to go into Robert and I's office. He was there.
We got to talk to him.
Working. Yep. Weight room, nutrition center, everything. They even took us in the equipment room where they dry out all the shoes and let us smell that beautiful smell.
Smells like victory.
And then
like victory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think the coolest part was, walking out the tunnel onto the field. That was just awesome.
That's pretty cool stuff. Yeah. No, for sure.
And plus, I think there was a few athletes from what I was seeing some of the pictures too. That was another bonus, right?
There was about 50 people there, and they broke us up into smaller groups. And our group was who do we have? Peyton Wilson and Lex Thomas, and I think Davin Van was with our group too. My dad was becoming friends with Davin Van.
Yes, no. Which, by the way, too, like that was the first time seeing Lex Thomas in person. I'm like, dude, Lex Thomas is literally like a Thomas brother, like clone, man. He looks just like they are, man. It's crazy. But anyway, though, so yeah, make sure again, y'all, to go check out Savage Wolves. Got Pack of Wolves and Savage Wolves coming together and throwing an awesome event here this Wednesday, where you'll be having an opportunity to see Phillip Rivers, Jericho Cotchery, Scotty McCurry performance. Like the list goes on. Torrey Holt, Torrey Holt was recently added. Like it's pretty much like an NC State fan's dream. If you love NC State, like if you're a real NC State fan, you are at this event. And for those listening right now, Greg is just killing himself right now.
Are you telling me that I'm not a real fan?
I'm so mad. I tried to get out of this work trip so bad. I was gonna maybe if I break my other leg, I don't have to go. I just did not. When I saw it announced and I had this trip, I'm like, oh, you've got to be kidding. Because it's like you said, it's really a who's who of everybody's dream to meet, right? Like if you've never met those athletes, they're definitely on your top 5 to meet. There's no doubt about it.
So you said Phillip Rivers, Torrey Holt, and who else?
Jericho Cotchery,
Naeem Hines,
Scotty McCurry is going to be performing.
That's right. Okay, cool. So, that's awesome.
Again, when's the last time Phillip Rivers has ever been a part of anything NC State?
Spring game, where I got my football sign. Just saying.
Well, yeah.
How dare you be right, Macon?
I know. I know. It was a long time other than that. Trust me.
Well, I'm talking more from like a helping NC State perspective. Like that was more of
like
a.
That's true. That's
like
true.
that was like a true. That was like a focus like on
And it was all about
Phillip Rivers is back, but now it's like helping NC State for him to
You're
be
right
there.
about that, man.
Hopefully it'll be more now. Obviously, probably part of that. Most of that was because he was still playing football.
No, he's gonna be tied up with his 10th child.
I was just gonna say the same thing. I said he won't be able to
preoccupied. He's gonna get their first string offense, rolling out on the field. Like,
he's got 10 now. He'll just be the quarterback, right?
I just feel like it just is like wow. I can't even imagine. Wow.
Yeah, no. But anyway, though, so make sure again, y'all, to go and check out and support Pack of Wolves, Savage Wolves. Some very cost-effective membership options there, and you get a ton of great NC State experience and swag out of it. So make sure to go and check them out, y'all, and let's continue to keep this thing rolling.
They have monthly plans too, so don't let that discourage you.
Yes.
And again, they said before, even if you can give like $20, $5 one time, you think it doesn't matter, but it does. So
and again, even like right now, again, like if you have $20, go sign up for the raffle, at least, and then you donate $20, and then you have an opportunity to go and win some prizes. Why not?
Yep.
So go take advantage. I think that goes until I think like August 11th, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought August 6th, but I might be wrong.
So early August.
Still got a couple weeks.
Just go sign up now before you forget. Just go sign up. $20. Go sign up. Try and win some awesome prizes. Got to give a shout out here now to head ball coach Coach Dorn, again named to the Dodd Trophy preseason watch list. It's been awesome to see Coach Dorn's name in like preseason watch list for a couple of years now, and I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. At least I definitely hope not. Can I
ask a question? Seriously, it's related. How did he not win ACC Coach of the Year last year? I mean, it was in. I know it was in discussion, but like
last year, the year before,
Duke was crazy.
Last year when he won, he had like 8 wins with a 4th-string quarterback.
Well, because again, Duke had an unbelievable turnaround.
There's always a story, right? They're slightly better.
But I think he more got screwed in 2020.
That's what I was
year
gonna
he
say.
should have really won it was 2020 over Brian Kelly for freaking Notre Dame.
Oh yeah,
I can't believe it.
Seriously, gave it to a coach whose team was even in the ACC.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking about. Not the year before. It was 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally forgot about that year. So right.
Yeah.
But you're right though. Like, what is it going to take? I mean,
what's going to take for him to win it?
I'm getting mad now, so let's keep moving.
Remember, you did this.
I did this. You're right. My fault. Dodd watch list. That's awesome for him to get on the watch list. That's awesome.
How many did they put on there? Anybody have an idea? Was it like 25, 30? Any clue? I'm just curious.
Probably 25. I think it was 25.
Yeah, I was thinking 25. That was kind of seemed like the magic number.
Yeah. Okay, there you go.
Which slots is about right, because anytime you see polls, he's usually in the top 25 of coaches.
Yeah. So now let's move it on over to a NC State commit. All of a sudden, without even having to be on campus, already has his name retired, and his name is going to be going up in the rafters here. And Brody Barnhart here, just doing some awesome. I don't even know, like just some burns, just poking the bear a little bit at the new UNC commit, Jordan Shipp, and just kind of give a little bit of the backstory. There was a video going around of Jordan Shipp, a 3/4-star wide receiver committing to UNC, and Brody Barnhart, a linebacker commit safety commit for NC State, who goes to school. He was wearing an NC State shirt, and he gave Jordan a bottle of wine and some cheese,
funny.
Which is hilarious. And the only gripe I have on this video, and as you can actually see on the right side, is that they recorded it sideways, but they posted it portrait. Like literally you had to kind of turn your head in order to really watch it. But other than that, though, it was a video of gold, no doubt. It is hilarious.
It's a great joke, but the thing that I think is more wholesome about it, these are two friends. There's a lot of times you see players go to two different schools, and it makes the rivalry more intense because they grew up playing together, they're friends and all that from high school, whatnot. And like, this is just good fun, man. Like, I mean, you can have fun and joke around about your rivalries. Yeah, it took it well. It was all for supporting your teammate and just being funny. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Shipp came back and it was like, okay, here's a pair of overalls or something like that because you're going to the like. Yeah, I just think that's funny and good humor. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. I thought it was a really cool thing. So,
yeah, no, and good for Jordan for being like, yeah, baby, wine and cheese.
Exactly, wine and cheese. You're gonna need it when you get over to get a head start.
I think.
Go ahead.
No, I said the funny thing is the fans take it more, I guess, delicately or sensitive than the players, right? Absolutely. Everybody gets up in arms about how dare that you give them wine and cheese. It's like, stop being so sensitive. This isn't even about you. It's about these two guys having a moment together. Like, stop making yourself part of the story.
Yeah. Now, the one thing which I will say for anybody, because my father-in-law, who's a big diehard UNC fan, he always calls us Moo, and I always say, hey, listen, you eat one bite of our ice cream, and you're going to be wrapping your lips around that ice cream that came from Moo, man. So I mean, there's some good stuff that comes out of Moo, as you like to call it, which
So I remember one shirt I saw when I was a textile engineering major, and I was at the college textiles all the time in Centennial, and they had a shirt, and I kind of wish it would be kind of that shirt I had kept. I think it was funny. It said, college textiles, without us, you'd be naked. Like, it was just kind of like, I thought it was a great like
Good
a
one.
great line. So
Well, yeah, I mean, like, where are you getting your pork? Where are you getting your corn? Where are you getting your tobacco? Like, I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
Like,
to me, it's just so good. I love it because they're so different. Like red is so opposite of blue. You got the nursing and liberal arts kind of side of UNC, the medical, the lawyers, and then you've got the engineers, the farmers, the
you
architects.
mean the backbone of North Carolina is what you're saying?
Yes, right.
Mhm.
The blue
Got
collar
it.
versus white collar. Like I
Gotcha.
think it's such a really.
Ooh.
I think it's just
Yeah.
a really cool thing for us as a rivalry. That's all it is. So
But again, we're not rivals though. What are you talking about, Macon? Come on.
you're right.
man.
Because we beat them all the time in football, right?
I know. It's just annoying. Like it's not even fun anymore how much we beat them. Yeah.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's the
It's
best.
fun. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
The best.
Greg doesn't remember.
Go
Greg
ahead.
doesn't remember the last one, man. He was.
No, I
he
remember the
was
last
gone
one.
on
on the
man.
field.
I was on
He
the
was
field
gone.
at Keenan.
Of course, I was on
the-
recording that thing.
No, I know
going,
you
He's
were.
on the
I know you were.
field.
He's
on
making
the
a joke about
field.
Greg's state of mind.
I was. What are you talking about?
He was
I
high,
do
he was
like the
high on
Twitter-
adrenaline, man.
Yeah.
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 I do.
that's what it is.
That's where we're gonna go. I was hyped up on Mountain Dew.
Yes.
But I do like the Twitter guy. I can't remember their account. I apologize. He tweets out every day. It's been so and so amount of days since UNC beat
Yeah.
NC
It's like
State
1,000
football.
days, right?
Yeah,
Something like that.
that's my favorite. Like that's my favorite follow. I don't like and retweet, but it brings a
Makes you
smile on my
happy.
face every day. It brings the
Mhm.
smile on my face.
Mm.
Yeah.
And then Michelle points out here, Cal's had one about without us, you would not eat. So
Exactly.
yeah, so great point there.
Exactly.
So one which should have totally been a tweet leak, but I totally forgot to add it here before we got in the live stream here, was the commitment of for Pac-9. I know a guy, Justin Cook, has been drooling at the mouth to finally get announced publicly.
How
and
do
it
you
was,
pronounce that guy's last name?
Makowitz or something like that. Like
Let's just go
No
Alec
idea.
Mack.
that's what's on his Twitter.
AMAC.
So
Yeah.
Alec Mack. Mac. Yeah, Alec Mack. But
Right.
transfer third baseman, grad transfer from ECU, which is hilarious because I reading some of the comments from ECU fans being like
They are
Like,
not happy.
they are tearing him a new one.
What's the
man.
guy we invited on last year for the
Boneyard
preview?
podcast.
Oh, I would have quote tweeted that and tagged in and said, how you feeling today, man? It's
Dude.
going to be
was-
okay.
He did comment on it. I don't know.
super salty.
Yeah, no, they're
He
all
said
super salty.
he said when your friend becomes your mortal enemy, walk the damn plank, which is kind of funny because they're the Pirates.
Yeah,
But I'm sure he uses that line for everything.
that's true. If you did something wrong, walk the plank. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I mean, for me, I think it's a great get. I think one of the biggest questions heading into next season for State baseball, I think, is going to be your hitting. I think bullpen, is going to work itself out. I think that the draft went really well from a bullpen perspective. There's a lot of
It
options
should
there.
work itself out. We got 40 pitchers on the roster right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the only question really is hitting wise, how's that going to work out?
This-
So I think you bring on a guy like Alec Mack, who, he started all 66 games last year for ECU. I think he was put as the number 31 third baseman in the country per D1 baseball last year.
Mhm.
So again, a great get. Go ahead, make him.
And I'm not a baseball guy like you guys might be or Justin Cook is, but
Yeah.
the way I look at his stats is that he's a decent hitter, right? He can hit, but he's not great at hitting. He's
Sure.
more his MO is defense. But
He's-
I took it when he hits, when he makes contact, he gets on base or he gets walked or whatever. So like it comes to me like if he makes contact, he's got a good chance of making something happen offensively for you rather than getting an out. It looks like the numbers kind of stack up there.
I would
Yeah.
describe him more as balanced because he's not like over 300 hitter, but he also doesn't have
No,
like
he's not,
20
yeah.
home runs. So he's not like an on base.
A lot of
guy. He's
RBIs
not
though, I thought. A lot of RBIs.
Yeah, he has 11 home runs. So that's what I'm saying. He's like it's like a solid
Yeah,
batting. It's
solid.
like a
He can
solid batting
hit.
average.
He can, yeah.
Solid RBIs and home runs. So that kind of
But
balanced. Go ahead,
Here's
Greg.
the thing: 11 home runs puts him like third or fourth on last year's squad
Right.
of NC
Right.
State.
Solid.
Right. I'm not
So-
saying he's bad. It's just like
Yeah.
I look at him as more like maybe Layton's saying it better. He is a more well-rounded prospect. He's not great in
Here's
my
his
opinion
defense.
offensively. He's good, solid, and I think his defense is kind of more of the
Yes.
plus value there.
He's slightly above average offensively and plus on defense.
Yes,
Yeah.
which
That's-
our defense last year was so freaking frustrating. It's like finally we have a third base that we feel solid about.
Well,
so
and here's the thing, Gino did. For all things we love about Gino, we love Gino. He was right at the top for errors on that team last year. So third base was a little bit of a liability.
What is Gino's pro position, do you think?
I think he's going to be outfielder.
Outfield, okay.
But I mean, that's just a guess. When he came to us, he was a left fielder ish. Then he went to second. Then he went to first. Then he went to third this year. And again, he plugged a hole. And because there wasn't any room in the outfield. So.
Yeah, and you had to keep his bat in there.
You had to keep that bat.
Yeah. What you do got to think about, man, for Charlotte, that if somehow Charlotte could have held on to Dominic Pololi and Gino Groover last year when Charlotte beat Clemson, their regional and all that, dude, Charlotte would have been freaking. They would have been really good last year. So, but we were glad to have him. Groover was showing out for us last year for sure.
Hey, real quick, and I don't know if you talked about it before I jumped on. Did we talk about? I think the lineman Mitchell, is that his last name?
Trent Mitchell?
Oh, Trent Mitchell. Yeah, from last week.
Yeah, but it was after the show last week, and so I thought.
So there was I think you're thinking of Justin Terrell.
That's what it was, Justin Terrell. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, no, we didn't talk about Justin Terrell.
Yeah, and I wanted to, because when we talked about the other one, he became an instant fan too with his switcheroo on the hat.
Dude, he was crapping on UNC, man.
So what's that? Tell him what happened, Greg, for those who didn't see it.
Yeah, it was. He was at his announcement. It was between us, Carolina, and I think there was another team in there. I couldn't tell you who it was.
It basically was State versus Carolina.
Yeah, basically. And then he goes, for the next 4 years or whatever, I'm going to go to North Carolina State, and then but he was picking up the Carolina hat and then tossed it, and then put on the State hat.
To your point, your comment, Greg, when you quote tweet was like, "My favorite thing is the girl in the back going, what?"
Well, she went woo, and then what? Like,
wait a minute,
It's kind of like when you see your bill from out at dinner, it's like. Yeah, it's good dinner. It's
I really like Justin Terrell's film. Were you going to talk about him at all by chance late in this?
Go for it.
Okay. So, really like him. He's 6'4". I think he's 250. I don't know where his. You know what he is? 250.
250. Mm-hmm.
I really like his film. Can really get after the quarterback from a defensive tackle position. And to me,
he's play nose, right? That's what I
think so.
That's because of the 3-3-5.
Yeah,
I think so. But he has the ability to continue to add more weight on. I think probably you're looking at 20, 30 pounds, maybe more muscle. But I think from a personality standpoint, that was cool. But I remember seeing some of these articles that, IPS or Pat Cry put out about his thing was saying how he really, it was emphasized to him the significance of the rivalry. Like he was like, UNC's telling me this. And then State's telling me this, and I really got the feel for the rivalry, and basically thought it was really cool and fun. And I was like, him doing that to me tells me how much that impacted his recruiting, right? Like he thought that was fun too, like the whole rivalry thing. So when I saw that, I looked at some like this dude's going to clean Carolina. One big hit at least when he plays Carolina in like 2 or 3 years, and he can get a start. He's gonna hit somebody.
He kind of reminds me of a little bit of a Lee McNeil. Like,
I think he's bigger. He's bigger.
You think he's bigger than McNeil was?
Yeah, McNeil was undersized. Yeah, McNeil was not like girth, like his weight, but McNeil was I think 6'2", I think.
Okay,
yeah,
got you. Not a lot of size. Correct.
Just his stature kind of reminded me of him a little bit. Just the way he carries himself a little.
Yep.
I'm excited.
Yeah, 100 points out here that Georgia's been good to us in football recruiting. A lot of talent down there, and
always is.
Okay, Pro Football Reference says Lee McNeil is 6'2", 330 pounds.
Yeah, he's put on some weight. He's put on some weight. He wasn't that big when he got to State.
Yeah, I remember that was on his thing. But yeah, no, I can see that. I don't know who I would think he would be. In my opinion, I haven't really thought about that yet. So
because did Aleem play the nose?
Yep.
Aleem played nose, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, I can kind of see.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Makes sense.
He was your guy in the middle. So, all right, y'all. So with that being said, I got some fun games here to wrap this thing up. Here, I was waiting for Greg to get on here to kind of wrap this thing up. So, we're going to be playing a little bit of blind rankings. So one of the biggest things in social media these days is these blind rankings where you do like 1 through 5. You have to do a rankings 1 through 5, and we give you one person at a time, and you have to put them somewhere on that 1 through 5. And then, basically we see kind of how your 1 through 5 worked out when all 5 names are mentioned. And so it's a little bit of skill, but it's also a little bit of luck as well. It just has to work out. So what we're going to do, I have four positions that we're going to be playing this with. So each of Michael, Macon, and Greg will get one. And then depending on who sucks the worst, wants a redemption factor, then, we could do the fourth one with whoever as well. But anyway, though, so make sure in the comments, let us know. So like if you want to write down as we go here in your head, kind of what you would have done your 1 through 5, and let us know how yours turned out. Let us know in the comments, and it's going to be really fun here. Anyway, so who wants to go first? Michael, Greg, Mick, anybody excited to go first?
Who's the youngest?
Oh my gosh! All right, Michael.
All right, Michael gets it.
All right, Michael. We're going to be starting off with quarterbacks. All right. So
okay, hold on. You may have to explain this again.
So once again, so basically, there's 5 spots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right. So I'm going to give you a name, and depending on how the goal is to have all 5 of these names in the true best order that you feel.
But we don't know who's coming next.
But you don't know who's next.
Okay, I've seen this. Okay.
So if somebody really good,
it's just like the NBA roster thing. Like you have to figure out.
Correct.
It's kind of like that. Okay.
So it's kind of like basically the idea is like if I gave you 5 names, you put them in a certain order, but now I'm taking away that you don't know who's going to be next.
Names, I've seen people do this with songs and stuff. Like
it's kind of fun.
My favorite songs without knowing what's coming next. Yeah.
And, for those who are confused, once you get through the first one, I think you'll kind of understand.
I get it. Yeah.
So preface this. I just want one question real quick. Are these all state players? ACC? Like what are we doing here? Or is that part of the game?
Sorry, guys.
All good. I think Greg is going to be NC State.
Yes.
Pretty sure it's going to be State. I don't know what it'll be, but I think it'll be something like that.
Technical difficulties.
All good.
Okay.
Can you hear us, Slayton? We can hear you. We'll just keep going. I don't know what it is, but regardless,
1 second, y'all. Sorry.
I was mentioning the side just to kind of give Leighton some time. You're talking about Justin Terrell. I really think I think a guy that's played on State's roster recently that's maybe more frame wise what he'll be like is Corey Durden. Durden was 6'4", but he's like 305.
That's good. That's a good comp.
Something like that, and he played D tackle. I think he'll be a little more aggressive. I think he's going to be a little more of a little bit more of a meaner streak than Durden did, but that's just personal.
So, Greg, what was your question? Did it get answered?
No, it's fine. I don't want to know now. Actually, I just want to. I'll figure it out as we go.
Okay.
Because I was trying to conceptualize how this might turn out, but
just
so you have 5 spots.
I might be out thinking myself, so go for it.
So Michael, again, basically you have 5 spots. Once you fill that spot,
we're good.
It's locked in. So if you put somebody at 2, then that person stays at 2, no matter who comes up afterwards. So all right. So your first quarterback, Mike Glennon.
Four.
That's what I was going to say too. That's what I was going to say too, honestly.
Mike Glennon at 4. Okay. Daniel Evans.
Is this for me again, or is somebody else going?
No, you're doing all of them.
All quarterbacks?
Everybody's doing each position.
Oh, okay.
So Michael, you're doing your own quarterbacks game here. So yeah. So
and
Michael,
it's 5, right?
Correct. It's 5 of them. So you got Mike Glennon 4. So Daniel Evans, where are you putting them?
Yeah, 5.
5. Okay. Jacoby Brissett.
3.
Okay. And keep in mind, these are already predetermined. Like I'm not coming up with them off the top of my head. So
is this a Chat GPT thing or what is this?
Well, it's more of like, I use Chat GPT to kind of help me come up with some names, but I just picked 5 random names.
It's PT.
Yeah. So right now you got Brissett at 3, you got Mike Glenn at 4, and Daniel Evans at 5. Jamie Barnett.
I knew it. I knew there was a curveball.
He's going to be somebody like.
So 2 or 1.
It's going to be Harrison Pick.
And he's going to leave Pete Thomas for last.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go 2.
P. Thomas was the last one.
The number one, baby.
Oh man. So
ultimate
Michael
setup.
has his top 5 quarterbacks, and go ahead and put
What
this
an
out on Twitter. That
idiot.
Michael Tracy said that P. Thomas is number 1.
Nah, you heard it here
Barnett
first.
2.
Let's just wrap up the episode right there.
Yeah.
That's almost as bad as Coach Maravich.
I thought-
No, not that bad.
So
It's
so
worse.
just again,
Mine's
just
worse.
again-
Mine's
all right,
worse.
so pause. Let's pause. So let's go over it again. So Michael said P. Thomas number 1, Barnett 2, Brissett 3, Mike Glenn 4, Daniel Evans 5. But again, hey, it's an interesting one. So all right, Macon, I guess since you're the not oldest, I guess you can go next. Running backs.
I'm the middle child. You said running
Of
backs?
the 3, Greg. Anyway, yes. Yeah, running backs. All right. Matt Days.
That day is pretty good. I'm going to say 3.
3. Okay. All right. T.A. McClendon.
Oh, man. 2.
2. All right. Naeem Hines.
I should have put Matt Days at 4. I'm going to go 4 there. I'm not
All right,
going to
so-
put 5.
So right now you got T.A. McClendon 2, Matt Days 3, Naeem Hines 4.
He's going to give me some awesome players.
Someone's
Gonna
gonna
have to go
get
to 5.
screwed coming up.
right.
We'll
It's
see.
coming.
Andre Brown. We were just
I'm
talking
going
about.
to do the same thing Michael did. I'm going to go 5.
No.
Wow, man.
Andre Brown? I'm waiting for somebody like, did you
Well, we
you
haven't
say-
done 5 yet, but you know, but
hold on.
Ted Brown ain't coming. I can tell you this right
Well,
now.
that's what I'm like, if he says Ted Brown, I'm going to
Maybe.
put him at 5.
Maybe.
Did you say
And again-
T.A. McClendon? Did you already say T.A. McClendon?
Yeah, you put him at 2.
You put him at 2.
Okay.
So right now you have T.A. McClendon 2, you have Matt Days 3, Naeem Hines 4, and Andre Brown 5. All right, last one. Shadrack Thornton at number 1.
Yeah, yes. Okay, I did the same thing.
Mhm.
Now, Michael, you're not as dumb as I thought you were.
Well, yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
if he
That's
says
not
T.A.
bad. Yours
McClendon,
is better.
if he says the other guy, I'm like Ted Brown. I'm like, I mean, like, you're stupid to put him at 5. So
Right.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, I know.
honestly, I don't know a lot about Andre Brown. I don't remember much about him. To be
We
honest
talked
with you.
about it on the season review. He got
Yeah.
screwed because he was at the end of a motto beginning of Tom O'Brien.
I just
So
don't remember.
right,
much
because
about
he
him.
just gets lost because those teams weren't that good.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
he got lost in the transition years. It's like, yeah. So all right, Greg. Here we go. You got wide receivers. All right.
Mhm.
So starting off here, Jacoby Myers,
4.
4. Okay. Thayer Thomas,
Oh, you got to put him at 5, dude.
5. Yeah, that's where I was going.
Three.
Jericho
Definitely.
Cottrey.
2.
Oh man, you're expecting me to bring Torrey Holt. John Dunlap.
Who is John Dunlap? I don't know who that is.
Dunlap. That's late Phillip Rivers. Daniel Evans. Solid wide receiver.
I just can't
Definitely
remember.
underrated.
I remember who Andre Brown
3.
was. Okay, so
There
3?
you- Yeah.
All right. So right now you got John Dunlap 3, Thayer Thomas 5, Jacoby Myers 4, and Jericho Cottrey 2.
2.
So number 1, Brian Underwood.
yeah, Greg, what an idiot!
I know the curveball was coming. I played right
Okay.
into the street game.
So
Could've
here's
gone
how I would
top
suggest this
3-1.
game needs to go next time. You should do like wide receiver, and then you have to give like a year, and that way it gives him like 3 options. I feel like I'm like we both left our number 1s like clearly we're not number 1s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I should have gone Cottrey 1. I should have known how this game was going to play out watching you two, and I just fell into a stupid trap.
Well, and again, I mean, obviously the point of this making is to not get it right. I mean, this
Yeah, we
almost,
did it. We did it. You're
we
right.
didn't.
I've never seen a list honestly that's been like completely right there, like in,
Yeah.
in anything. Like
Yeah.
it's always kind of funny. to see who
Admiral
kinda gets left
Akbar
over.
told me it was going to be a trap, and I still fell for it.
All right. So the last one is going to be defensive backs. Who wants to take that on?
I want it. Give it to
Hey,
me.
how about
I
we
want
each
it.
take one?
Okay, do that.
Or yeah, we like
Way to be
round robin.
collaborative, Greg.
or, yeah,
Yeah.
collaborate. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Collaborative.
Okay.
Okay. All right. All right. Josh Jones.
Is this me?
1.
Or just y'all collaborate. Yeah, collaborate. Let's
Yeah, yeah. Well,
collaborate.
yeah, we have to come to
Okay,
a group
okay.
consensus.
All right.
Um,
How many
Josh Jones
great
is good.
DBs have there been for
He
state?
was-
How many great DBs have there been? It's my
Not a
question.
lot.
Not a lot until recently.
I say put him at 2 or 3. how this game works.
Oh.
Trust me.
Hi.
Trust me.
You did just as bad as we
Look
did.
at Leighton right there. Look at Leighton.
Trust me. Trust me.
Leighton is playing us right now.
You had Brian
Leighton is
Underwood at
playing
number
us.
1.
All right, you know what? You do you, boo. Hey, you do you, boo.
Fine. You know what? Put him at whatever you want, Greg. 2 or 3.
I'm okay.
It is. I can get him where I ain't put him at 2. I'm telling you right now.
All right. We'll see who's right.
3. All right. 3. Josh Jones. All right. David Anderson.
1.
You got
one.
Yeah,
this game he's won.
Yeah, I think we figured it out.
You gotta find the one and go for it.
Okay. All right. Brandon Bishop.
I think he's going to be like a 2 or a 4.
Yeah, let's go 4. Let's go 4.
You want to go 4?
Yeah.
4. All right, let's go 4.
All right. So far you got David Anderson 1, Josh Jones 3, Brandon Bishop
He's behind
4.
Josh Jones and David Anderson at this point. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I feel Tanner Ingles coming in here somewhere.
Dwayne Washington.
2.
Yeah.
I think
Greg goes,
I think we nailed this one. Yeah, 2.
5. Justin Burris.
This is their best one.
I think we did pretty good.
We did all right. We could have swapped Burris.
So Emerson, Washington, Jones, Bishop, and Burris.
Bishop should have been 5.
But I mean, you could definitely make a case
with that.
You can make it. 1,000% you can make it.
I'm talking about. I'm
Yeah,
so glad we
that's pretty good, y'all.
collaborated.
I
It
like
was
that.
my
We should have
idea.
done. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so glad
Good
it was my
idea,
idea to
Megan.
collaborate.
We're onto your stupid game, Leighton. No more burning us.
Yeah, no, that was fun, y'all. And looks like in game too. Again, Indie Game's got his list there in the chat. Did a pretty good job. So let us know again, y'all. Your list that you made as well. Would be interested to see how y'all did as well. It's a fun little game there.
Especially in the summertime when there's not as much to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we're 2 weeks away, y'all. 2
Yep.
weeks away, and again, once fall camp starts, it's gonna fly. Like it's gonna fly to game day.
Yeah.
So, and also you got to put a little bit of a reminder out there as well, is that if you're heading to UConn, myself and Greg will be there. So let us know. Again, we'd love to connect with you guys that are there. I know UConn is trying like crazy to sell that place out, which they might. So again, if you can get there and put some red in that blue stadium, then let's do it, please.
The only redeeming quality about that game is they're probably going to honor their national basketball championship team.
That's true. That's probably true.
That's why they're going now. It's not even about
That's the only reason that game's going to be.
Basketball's going to beat the football stadium.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wait, is that just? Did you just do a Carolina reference?
Ooh.
Yes, I did.
Ouch. Yeah, what was that? 2017.
I didn't even go that far because I didn't put on their jerseys or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly,
right.
Exactly.
So and those ones are probably going to be taken away at some point, maybe 5-10 years down the road. So, but anyway, though. So, all right, y'all. With that being said, first of all, thank you all so much again for joining us. Hope you all enjoyed this show. And also to make sure, if you haven't already, again, first of all, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. As this week we're going to be coming out with our episodes where we got to interview the new softball coach, Lindsay Leftwich, which I think is one of the first real main interviews of this new softball coach, and it is a doozy one to say the least. It will definitely get you excited about the softball program and where the future of the softball program is going to be going. So make sure, again, if you do not want to miss out on that, hit that free subscribe button, hit that free notification bell. If you enjoyed this conversation, hit that like button, and make sure to follow us at Tuffy Talk Now, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And also to make sure, again, to go and join our free Discord as well. If you go to the tweet that's pinned to the top
look
of our
at this.
Twitter account.
I'm just going to go over to this nice Discord channel with all of this really nice content. Look at that.
I know, dude. It's free to check out, man. So make sure to do it.
Nice.
Yeah, no. And I'm telling you all this right now that like between now and August 31st, we have way more episodes already scheduled and recorded that we're going to have to be putting out definitely more than 2 episodes a week here at some point here throughout the next month and a half here. So again, to make sure you do not miss out on all of this content that's going to be coming out, hit that free subscribe button, hit that notification bell. But Hunter, everybody, thank you all so much for joining us, being in the chats. We can't wait to see y'all soon. We'll talk to y'all next week, and go Pack, y'all. We'll see y'all soon.